One of the most sensational adventures is the ability to travel back in time and observe the fantastical creatures that existed before we did. To be immersed in a world that is vastly different from our own, and to have our minds delectably tricked into believing that we have front row seats to the trials and tribulations of the many extraordinary creatures that lived millions of years ago, is one of the greatest privileges of our time. And this is made possible through animators like Julian Johnson-Mortimer. By devoting a great deal of time and effort, this extraordinarily talented animator is able to bring to life in such a realistic and credible manner what numerous large-scale budgets have failed to achieve. Due to the value and beauty of his art, I would like to offer my views and opinions. His body of work is vast, but the Triassic Seas is the one I'll be discussing here. Triassic Seas. As the title implies, this adventure takes place in the Triassic period of prehistoric history. Although I have a deep appreciation for dinosaurs and prehistoric creatures, I will be the first to say that I am not familiar with the names of all the depicted dinosaurs or the creatures seen in his works. Animated works like this are fascinating because of the realistic portrayals and the lessons that can be learned from studying the creatures' behaviors alone. I noticed there is a tale to be told just after a few seconds of watching this video. The animator does an excellent job at conveying the story without using any words in a strictly show-and-tell manner. With the compelling atmosphere of the sea environment, we follow what appears to be a Nothosaurus family or community. Again, I may err when describing or identifying which creatures are which, so if I do, feel free to correct me. In spite of this, these draconic marine creatures appear to be at home in the water and come ashore to rest as scavenging pterosaurs opportunistically soar overhead in search of food. When observing the Nothosaurus, it appears that they have familial and amicable relationships. I've seen that they are also quite vocal in their communication. I would imagine, past what the sound designer was capable of creating, that these creatures would have a vast array and broad spectrum of different trills and noises and different frequencies and decibels as a way to communicate. Not only do they seem to meet here on the shore every day for scraps to scavenge, but possibly as social tradition. This is very similar to the crocodiles aggregating to a body of water and for the most part sharing it with their peers. It is fair to assume that the majority of mating and male competition for females would occur at this venue and at this period. It's quite captivating to observe the Nothosaurus existing in harmony with the ichthyosaurs, the prehistoric dolphins of the sea. As a matter of fact, the animator makes it plain that many creatures exist in harmony with the ichthyosaurs. What's very interesting is the seemingly mutual relationship that the ichthyosaurs have with these mosasaur crocodilian and scalier versions of themselves. These stockier sea reptiles appear to possess the same agility and individuality as their more sleek counterparts. It also appears that they have strong familial ties, as the parents appear to travel with their young and keep a careful eye on them. Here, ichthyosaurs are heard producing clicks resembling those of modern dolphins, not only to navigate but also to communicate with their kin. I wonder if their stubby-tailed friends can understand them. As they journey through the waters, recounting their numerous stories, and as their young play, swim, and dive all around them, the stubby-tailed friends of the ichthyosaurs move slowly to preserve energy. Watching this animation has me feeling like my eyes have transformed into a time machine. I can't help but get sucked into the world that it creates. The range of the sizes among marine animals is fascinating. The animator did an excellent job at capturing each character's unique personalities. Now, to remind you, I don't recall or have probably even known ever all the names of every creature seen in this animation. What I mistake for one creature might turn out to be another, as many of them look very similar. However, this video is called the Triassic Seas. Therefore, I'm going to take a guess that this gargantuan creature is a Shastosaurus. Due to the immensity of the ocean, and as a spectator with nothing familiar to compare these creatures to, it's easy to be misled regarding their size. It is for this reason that if you've never seen a tuna in person, you could find it difficult, as I did, to believe that they are in fact larger than horses. Shortly after these titans are seen, an adult ichthyosaur, or what appears to be an adult, is introduced. The most obvious feature of this individual is the distinct bite mark on her back. For the sake of my review, and because I am who I am, I will name her Jessie. The most intriguing aspect of this animation is that a tale is being recounted. If you're not paying attention, or if you're entirely enthralled and mesmerized by the movement, colors, and stunning organisms as well as their surroundings, it's easy to overlook the fact that there is a plot and a reason for the clips that are shown. Again, I don't know for certain what the mosasaur-like creature is. However, based on the size and time period of the piece, I believe it is a plesiosaur of some sort, but I could be mistaken. Regardless, what is wholesome and apparent is that Jessie and her family have a close relationship with their bobtailed friends. Jessie is old now, but her daughter, whom I will call Reticent, and who has children of her own, appears to have a really close bond with one of the shorttails. Here, they are displaying what appears to be affection by rubbing up against one another like cats. They appear to be old friends who are entirely at ease in one another's presence. It is probable that the two adult creatures with the ichthyosaurs are a mated pair. We have already mentioned that these species have social and familial relationships. It's likely that one of these creatures played with Reticent as a baby. They undoubtedly met years ago, and because their hunting techniques and mannerisms are so similar, they established a connection. Now that Reticent is an adult with her own offspring, they are still best friends, and their children continue to play together in a wholesome, loving manner. They not only play together and watch each other's children, they also travel together as a group and engage in activities together. This is because both possess a similar hunting style, and they benefit directly from one another's traits. It is probable that Reticent and her mother Jessie taught the stubby tails their technique for hunting efficiency. And at first glance, it may seem as though the short tails, or their bobtail friends, are benefiting more from the ichthyosaurs than the ichthyosaurs are benefiting from them. But you'd be entirely wrong, and the reasons why will become clear in due time. Now, their children travel with them so they too can participate in this hunting custom. Interestingly, a pair of Shastasaurus are also traveling. These substantial lurkers are undetected by the joyful family above, but surely they must have their own plans, and they might be heading to the hunting grounds as well. At last, the two families have arrived. To make the school of fish easier to grab, they cooperate as a group to encircle it and pack the fish into the center. As the plesiosaurs and ichthyosaurs encircle the terrified fish, they take turns gleefully snatching great mouthfuls. I honestly never envisioned these two separate species acting in this manner. It's quite heartwarming to observe the two distinct species bringing their families together, forming this bond, and keeping the friendly flame of community burning through the generations. And what is to come will undoubtedly put that bond to the test and demonstrate why it is so vital. We are treated to a beautiful cinematic display of Reticent and her Shonosaurus family hunting alongside the stubtail plesiosaurs. The animator does an incredible job of helping you see things through the eyes of the monsters by providing you with their point of view. It is something rarely seen in media, especially in relation to dinosaurs and other prehistoric species. The two families are having such a good time that they are oblivious to the danger that they are in. I believe it would have taken Reticent a considerable amount of time to comprehend what was happening, as one of the enormous Shastasaurus chomped down on her body and carried her away to be consumed. You see, the Shastasaurus weren't just going to the hunting grounds. They had already started hunting many miles back, and what they'd been hunting was Reticent and her family. Immediately, their fun activity has become tragic. Jessie, Reticent's mother, throws her body into the big creature holding her daughter, trying to get it to release her. The plesiosaurs also rush after her without delay. These animals don't see each other as different species. As far as they're concerned, these large, strange monsters have abducted a member of their family. Unfortunately, Jessie is too elderly to keep pace with the enormous creature's stride. However, the plesiosaurs do not sway. Therefore, I am certain that these creatures are even more so plesiosaurs, because plesiosaurs are believed to have been far more vicious and tenacious than ichthyosaurs. They are the ideal companions to have in times of difficulty, and the worst enemy to have if you ever mess with their friends. Now we know why these bobtail marine reptiles are so important to Reticent and her family. In exchange for the ichthyosaurs' assistance in finding and acquiring food, the plesiosaurs provide them with protection. Reticent is severely injured and wailing in agony, yet her best friend and her best friend's partner keep up with the Shasta without breaking a sweat. Consequently, the Shasta swims faster to escape these annoying Pleos, but the best friend will make her regret that decision today. With the male holding the Shasta in a Herculean show of strength, Reticent's best friend utilizes all her strength and monstrosity to teach this titan that her species is not to be trifled with. The female plesiosaur uses her flipper to dislodge Reticent as the Shasta loses velocity. The tremendous cut down in speed, as well as the unexpected weight placed on one side of the Shasta's jaws, lead the big creature to in fact drop Reticent. Reticent makes a feeble attempt to flee with the assistance of her best friend, who steers her clear of danger. The female plesiosaurus, who I'll nickname Pleo, offers a bite in the direction of the Shasta to signal to the large beast that she will soon be dealt with. Pleo, who had considered Reticent her closest friend and who would have sacrificed her life for her, performs a U-turn as her male utilizes his extraordinary power to weigh down the Shasta. This is the way the plesiosaurs hunt, and in their time, they were the pit bulls of the sea. The momentum and force of her jaws results in a badly torn neck for the Shastasaurus. And if you didn't think they were good enough friends, they remained with the beast until it was dead and no longer posed a threat to their family. That day, the Shasta made the simple error of picking the wrong ichthyosaur family. And in their final act, the plesiosaurs drown the dying Shasta, which washes ashore on the same beach where our odyssey began. Oblivious to the fact that a grand ending to an exciting story occurred many miles away from the shore, the Nothosaurus are finally rewarded with the food that they've been waiting for to wash ashore. Such an incredible animation and narrative. Julian Johnson-Mortimer is a master at his craft. If I didn't know any better, I'd assume he's already worked for Hollywood or major studios and he's just doing this as a hobby, because it's so hard to believe that this is the work of an amateur, and surely it can't be. I don't think this is amateur level stuff. This work feels like they would have taken hundreds of thousands, if not a couple of $1 million to make, and every video he puts out is better and even higher quality than the last. I don't see how this is feasible, and I dare add that the profound immaculateness of it makes me wonder if a machine was producing it with the prompts of a creative mind. Please share his channel and these videos in celebration of animators on this platform. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer.